Kcal News at 5 a.m. I'm Chris Holmstrom.
And I'm Kalina Estrinos, and here are some of the major headlines we're following.
We may be 60,000 members from Maine to Texas, but what we control in the economy is billions and billions and billions of dollars every day.
Port workers walk off the job on the East Coast. We'll tell you how this strike could impact us right here in Southern California.
There aren't very many roads for these residents to get out.
And containment numbers on a major wildfire drop. The growing evacuation warnings after another flare-up.
And the countdown to the vice presidential debate is on. How tonight's showdown with J.D. Vance and Tim Walz could impact the election that is just weeks away. So much going on in October.
Yeah.
in the next couple of months.
I didn't realize it was October 1st till I read that. I'm like, oh, it's October.
And then a reminder, rent is due. I have an alarm set for later on this morning.
Alex Biston's good about that. She's like, first of the month, pay your rent.
All right, guys. Well, it's also first of the month. We're talking about our rain gauges getting set down to 0. So that means we are beginning our rainy season.
Oh, good to know.
Even though no rain in sight right now. All right. But what I can tell you is that we do have the really foggy condition. So that dense fog is back, and we have a dense fog advisory. This is a live look at our next weather sky cam. This is Santa Monica Beach. You can see just how foggy it is here. This is why we have that dense fog advisory until about 9 a.m. I'm going to also show you our next weather visibility, where we have visibility down to less than a mile in areas like Oxnard, Camarillo, LAX, and then also the Long Beach area. Carson is also down to a mile of visibility as well. Some of the clouds have moved inland, and then we'll start to see the clouds fade away for Santa Monica. You will start to see the clouds clear with more sunshine later this morning. We'll have some hazy sunshine right around the lunch hour, but temperatures as you get away from the coast will be pretty hot. We're talking very hot temperatures today and tomorrow, as temperatures are expected to get into 107 for the valleys, 104 for the Inland Empire and the high deserts. We even have a heat advisory over our mountaintops. So coming up in my next weather forecast, I'll let you know when all of this heat will finally go away. Back to you.
All right, Amber, thank you so much. I do want to take you out to our next traffic map right now, because we do have an overturned car. It is southbound PCH to the eastbound McClure Tunnel. That is shut down. You can see the impact there on the roadway. As you head out the door, we do have a look at the Caltrans camera where you can see cars are being diverted off there. Take your alternate routes this morning. Ocean Avenue or Lincoln Boulevard will all help you avoid that delay that we're now seeing. The rest of LA at the moment, we're seeing lots of green, which we really like, especially on a Tuesday morning at 5:01. The Inland Empire, though, we are slowing down so far through the Cajon Pass already. Looks like it's accident-free, but the southbound traffic already building to 26 minutes between the 395 and the 215. And the 91 looks like this in our Caltrans camera right around Magnolia. You can see that back at Building 2. It's a 20-minute ride, Tyler, to the 241.
And we do have some breaking news for you this morning. Power is knocked out in parts of Mid-City after a car crashed into a utility pole. It happened near West Pico Boulevard and Southwestern Avenue around 12:30 this morning. The car also hit a hydrant. You can see it right there, went through that gate. The LADWP is on the scene. They say power will be restored soon, but no actual time yet. We're still working to track details on what led up to the crash. We do know a witness says they saw 2 women running from the scene, but again, this is a developing story. Some more breaking news for you. Tens of thousands of dock workers went on strike at midnight overnight, impacting more than a dozen ports along the East and Gulf Coast.
And now if that walkout goes on for more than a few days, consumers across the country could start feeling that impact. Let's go to Kcal News reporter Tina Patel joining us live now near the Port of LA with more details on this. Tina, good morning.
Good morning. Well, dock workers here on the West Coast are in a separate union, so they are not on strike. But if this strike on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast goes on for a while, then we could see an impact here at our ports. Take a look at this. Members of the International Longshoremen's Association went on strike just after midnight. There are about 45,000 members of that union working at ports from Maine down to Texas. Now, they have been trying to negotiate a new contract with higher wages and some protections against automation, but they could not reach a deal with the ports, so they are walking out for the first time since the 1970s. Some companies knew that this strike was a possibility months ago, so they started sending holiday shipments early and rerouting some cargo to the West Coast Coast. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach are currently operating at about 70 to 80% capacity. So executives here say they could handle more cargo if necessary, but moving shipments from the East Coast to the West Coast could take time and cost more. So there's a real possibility that if this strike is not resolved soon, there could be shortages on